preparing our old Mint 400 F100 race truck for a battle against Todd Leduc and the muscle.
How's the motor?
Motor is brand spanking new. It's a V8 Ford with a C6 transmission.
To power the F100, well, we're sticking with the gas engine, but not any old gas engine. This is a brand new LSA Chevy crate engine. But none of that means anything if we can't figure out a way to get it to run right, which means getting it tuned properly and, you know, all the other stuff that you're supposed to do before actually entering into a race.
So we need lots of power because you got to win.
Yep.
But you don't win if you blow up,
exactly.
Right?
So we're over at the dyno to see how everything plays with each other. That's what dyno tuning does. It basically takes the computer from the engine and says, do this at this time, do that at that time, bing, bang, boom, bam. You got yourself a truck with a lot of power and the ability to beat Todd Leduc at a desert race. Right now, from the factory, these engines are good for like 400 and something horse. We're not gonna get that to the tires.
The tire looks really round, doesn't it?
I bet we'd be lucky to see somewhere in like the 250, 300 range at the tires.
So it looks like we got 333 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque.
Nice. Base tune, that's pretty good.
She's running rich. Air fuel is in the upper 10s, so we want that in the upper 11s. And we're gonna add some timing. Here's your timing table. And I've gone in and basically added 3 degrees across the board.
Okay.
That's gonna set the spark to occur sooner when the piston's coming up.
The timing of an engine is pretty much like the heart and soul. That's what makes it run. Basically taking the spark that the spark plug makes and making it happen just a little bit sooner during the compression stroke of the engine. What that does is it can create more power, but if you go too far, it's going to throw a spark and it's gonna ignite the fuel early. You're gonna get pre-detonation, you're gonna put a hole right in the piston. We're towing this fine line of making power while still being safe. So now we have the opportunity to throw a little less fuel at it, which is gonna be able to create more air, more power. I bet with this next tune file, we should be able to hit 400 pretty easily. Sound a little more crisp.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So we picked up about 50 horsepower
Okay.
on that run, and the torque went up to 502. You can see across the board, we picked up more power everywhere by doing that. We'll make another pull and see where it's at.
As gearheads, obviously we're gonna want as much horsepower as we can possibly get. But horsepower isn't the only factor involved. We also need torque to back it up because torque is what's gonna allow us to be able to power through some of those tight twists and turns and obstacles and anything else out in the desert that's gonna give us the upper hand to obviously go out and beat Todd Leduc. So it looks like overall we gained about 50 horse at the wheels, and we got way more on the top end.
Yeah, I think you gained a lot more than that. If you go from like 280 up to, you know, 380, you picked up almost 100 horsepower,
Right.
somewhere in 90, 100 horsepower up top.
And about the same
at the
with the
higher
torque, too.
RPM, and same with the torque. So, yeah, I think we did good for just tuning the vehicle and getting
Right.
the specifications right. You picked up some pretty good power.
Yep.
Nice.
Getting this new engine running right, that's a big deal for us. But truth is, it's only half the battle. The rest of the drivetrain, like the suspension, transmission, driveline, all the other parts that have to go out there and cooperate with the engine to be able to beat Todd, those things all have to be fine-tuned and dialed in as well. All right, I love it. Let's get it unloaded and get it back to shop.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Rick.
We're out here in the Utah desert getting ready to test our Mint 400 race truck. What we're doing right now is learning from the past. In the past, with this actual truck, we went to the race, unloaded it, never drove it before, and only made it a mile. So what we're doing is basically the basics. We've got the new engine installed, dynoed. We got a good tune on there, making good power. We got the shocks and everything. Basically, the whole truck's assembled. And now we've got a shock tuning expert, AKA Matt from Desert Speed Shock Tuning, coming out to make sure the old F100 is ready for the big dance.
Initially, we'll make a couple of passes, see if the front's staying down, if the back's staying down, see how it does when we hammer it into the corners.
The shock setup on our truck is 100% capable of either allowing us to beat or lose to Todd. We can't sit here and make any adjustments until we see it fly, right?
Absolutely.
So let's get to the rough stuff.
Are we gonna fly it or drive it?
Yes. These things are designed to go 100 miles an hour through holes, ditches, rocks, all sorts of stuff. And those types of things, if you hit them with bad shocks, I've seen guys' trucks get ripped in half because the shocks didn't do what they were supposed to do.
All right, Heavy, so what I need you to do is we're gonna make a couple passes through here.
Okay.
We need to warm up the shocks. We're gonna kind of take it easy for the first couple passes.
Okay.
And then as they get hot and up to race temperatures, then we'll start pushing it harder.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, looks pretty good. What do you think about that last pass?
Got this back tire's coming off the ground a little bit through here.
All right, what kind of speeds do we have going through there?
We were doing probably 60. Felt a little soft, I gotta be honest.
Well, that's because it's getting hotter.
Yeah.
It's actually dramatically hotter. Based on what we're seeing, we need to increase the compression a little bit. It's just gonna help slow it down and mellow the chassis a little bit.
Okay, so it doesn't just go straight up and bottom out.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're trying to avoid that at all costs.
So compression's when the wheel's coming up.
Correct.
Rebounds when the wheel's coming down.
Exactly.
Talking to the Bill Nye the Science Guy of shocks.
He's picking up speed. Oh, he's flying.
Yeah, it looks a lot smoother this time than it did last.
Definitely noticing a lot of changes with each pass.
I'm gonna make a small adjustment to the front.
Okay.
It looked faster that time than it ever has.
Yeah. Crazy how just turning a little screw can change the way the truck drives.
Well, the car's staying really flat.
Oh, he's cooking.
But as of right now, everything feels like it's a completely different truck as far as the engine, the power, the suspension, the way it's handling. I can charge into really, really rough terrain and be confident that it's just gonna go right through it.
Well, then that means I did my job.
You did your job, the truck's doing its job, now I just gotta do my job and beat Todd. Yeah, it's my
Absolutely.
job. The new and improved F100 is dialed in. It needs a nice dress for the ball. A little black, a little white, a little racing stripe, throw it all together with some vinyl, bam, what do you get? An F100 that's ready to go kick Todd